Well, greetings, faithful followers. This is your old pal, Brother Jack Angry, welcoming you to another edition of Movie Night Live from the Monastery of Mayhem. Normally we would be bringing you a one film to review and kind of talk about and make fun of and all that other good shit we do here on the Angry Brothers Hall Shakarama and Movie Night Live from the Monastery of Mayhem. But we're going to bring you a treat tonight. We actually have discovered a new show. It is a friend of ours on our Facebook, Scott Geider, who you would know as Gruesome Herzog. If you follow the horror host culture, you would know his Gruesome Herzog movie review program. He's quite a prolific poster on Facebook, especially in the horror host pages and sections. And he seems like he's a really great guy, too. We've had several dealings with him, talked to him about various things in the past. He's working with a gentleman called Blue DeGaulier to produce a hour-long anthology series on Vimeo and other outfits. It's called Hillbilly HillbillyHorrorShow.com. I apologize for that. Had a momentary brain fart. Brother Jack's doing that more and more these days. Wonder what's in this beer. I better check that. But anyway, it's called HillbillyHorrorShow.com. Now, Scott Geider plays the character of Cephas, one of the hosts. It's done in a USA Up All Night Joe Bob Briggs kind of style, and much the style we do here. I mean, you have a host, you have a second banana, you have the sexy sidekick. They present the independent films made by indie filmmakers, and the show I watched was quite good. There were some excellent movies. The first one, I will admit, it did get off to a rather slow start. It was called Till Death Do Us Part. The two characters, Frankie and the aunt, and they break into a home to kidnap the female lead, known in the movie as Care Bear. I don't think that's her real name, but it's cute. I mean, the crop top, panty-wearing, bunny-slippered heroine of the film. The pathos of the film, the drama, is the interplay between Frankie and the aunt. The aunt appears to be concerned about his mother's onset of dementia. I don't want to give away a lot, but basically towards the end there's some very good plot twists, and it doesn't really work out well for any of the characters involved. Well, let's leave it at that. And as Brother Jack's, it's always keeps with Brother Jack's motto. It's always better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. But sometimes you just don't get the forgiveness, and you got to pay the consequences, people. That's the way them's the breaks. I don't want to give the ending away, but it's actually got a very good plot twist to it. Kind of an M. Night Shyamalan thing going on, at least to Brother Jack's estimation here. Excuse me. That's good beer. But anyhow, the next film was an animated feature called Doppelganger. This film was a short film. I mean, I think it ran maybe 10 minutes, at most 15, but I wasn't paying that much attention to the counter. I was too busy watching the film itself. The film itself, I mean, you have the opening, a skeleton laying on a slab in a cave or a tomb. The skeleton rises, kind of stretches, yawns, as it were, and sets out a trek across a desert-looking landscape. Whether this is an apocalypse, or it's a version of hell, or Doesn't look like any neighborhood in hell I've ever been to. Definitely they need some urban renewal going on there. A little bit of gentrification. Hey, you know, plant a bush or two, you know. It's like, God, everything's so dreary and rocky. You'd think it was Utah. I was expected to see a sign that says, "Welcome to Salt Lake City and the Mormon Tabernacle this way," you know. Bunch of guys wearing name tags that say brother this and brother that, you know. And it's like, got more brothers than we know what to do with in Utah, you know. Believe me, an elder this and elder that, you know. Okay, that, you know, Mormonism, greatest made-up religion there ever was. But that's just Brother Jack's opinion, you know. And isn't it nice that we're in America where we can say that kind of stuff, not like them poor bastards in the Ukraine right now that are basically being bent over and used as Putin's bitches, as it were. You know, hang tight, Ukraine. Uncle Sam will be there soon to make it all right. You know, Daddy fix. You know, Daddy Obama will fix it, you know, even if we all go broke in the process. But hey, that's just this little zombie's opinion. But anyway, the doppelganger film precedes the skeleton trekking across the desert, you know, rocks and columns and all this other dreary stuff. But the cinematography was quite good, and the animation was excellent. Till finally he meets another skeleton, you know, who's missing. The only thing we can see that he's missing is apparently his lower jaw. So our hero, the first skeleton, you know, after observing this, walks up and offers his hand in friendship. The other skeleton takes his hand and in a very manly kind of handshake, and we think that there's going to be, you know, they're going to go walking off into the sunset, you know, to do God knows what. But anyway, the other skeleton proceeds to rip our hero's arm off and beat him into submission with it. Ends where the one skeleton crumbled on the ground, and the other skeleton simply just walks off carrying his arm. And, you know, Brother Jack is sitting there scratching his head going, what the fuck is that all about? But anyway, you know, it was not a bad movie. I'm a fan of animation, particularly the home-grown variety, you know, and things like that. So it wasn't Holic, or it wasn't Sailor Moon, or Naruto, or even Hellsing, but hey, it was still pretty good, and it was worth, you know, it was worth the time we took to see it. So we'll give them our glasses up on that. We'll have more on the film here after the break. We do want to take a moment to mention our good friend Dedra, the Groupie Corpse. She co-hosted with us on the episode with the Killer Shrews and another episode. She has been helming our project, Dedra's Hit List. And that is if you're a band, if you've got a local venue, a club, whatever, a convention, you know, whatever, you got an interesting event going on and you want publicity, well, the Angry Brothers, along with Dedra's Hit List, we're your man, people. We've got your back on this. Get in touch with us. You can contact me at my email address, theangrybros@gmail.com. You can also look up Dedra's page on Facebook. Just in the search box, type Dedra, Deadra, the Groupie Corpse. It'll take you right to her site, and ask her about Dedra's Hit List and how you can be a part of it. Now back to the show. Well, greetings, faithful followers. Welcome back. What do you think of Hillbilly Horror Show so far? It's actually very good. Now let's talk. We've talked a little bit about some of the movies, and we're going to come back to that in the next segment. But I want to talk about the hosts. We have Scott Geider as Cephas, the co-host. We have Bo, and we have his quite yummy little sister, wife, cousin wife, or whatever, Lulu. The actors and actresses who played these parts were very good. I apologize that your names do escape me at this moment. That's the result of Brother Jack not doing his homework, and he will own up to that. But trust me, the the hillbilly stereotype was played spot on, and Geider as the mumbling, lab coat wearing, see, there's them lab coats, what did I say? I've said it before, friends don't let friends wear lab coats. Usually leads to no good, you know. But anyway, the Cephas, the lab coat wearing, mumbling, would-be genius, you know. It's like if a 64 IQ could be called genius in anyone's reality. That's like being the smartest kid with Down syndrome. But, oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Bad Jack, bad whore host. The character of Bo, the MC and presenter, actually he had quite a few good one-liners. After there was, my favorite one was after he was stung by one of Lulu's bees. He proceeds to hand the disc to Cephas, telling him to put it into the player because he's injured, you know, and he holds his beer on on his stung neck. You know, I thought was rather cute. The character of Lulu, the actress who played her, was quite fetching in her little Daisy Duke shorts and wife beater top. We did see her in a couple of bikinis and I believe some lingerie. So once again, this illustrates Brother Jack's, you know, belief in the cardinal rule of horror hosting. You have a leader, you have a second banana, and you have your hot-looking female sidekicks. And that's, you know, usually the good combinations. Now, you know, again, our worthy, did I say that out loud? But anyway, our worthy competition here in town does use this formula to some degree, although it's, you know, it's not about, the true mark of a good horror hosted program is not that it's all about you, just because you happen to be out in front, you know, and you happen to be the front man for everything. It's not all about you. Sorry there. But it's about a cast, a good ensemble cast that plays off of each other is the secret to a good hosted horror movie program. You know, in our worthy competition, I don't think gets that. But anyway, that's not our problem. And, you know, if they're watching this, what can we say but suck it? Anyhow, again, did I say that out loud? Damn, my demonic possession must be acting up again. Oh well, I'll have to get that taken. I have the solution. More beer. If you can't beat them, drown them. That's right. You know, if you can't beat the demons, you drown the little fuckers. You know, of course, I've been doing this for so long, I think all my demons have become members of the Olympic swimming team. You know, it just doesn't work like it did in the old days, people. You know, anyway. But the next film was called Alone. And now this film, there was very little dialogue in this film. It was basically a woman, apparently in Wisconsin or something by the look of the terrain, and the fact that there was a lot of snow everywhere. Could have been Wisconsin, hell, it could have been, you know, western Nebraska for all we know. It's like nobody's got any shortage of snow right now and cold weather. Anyway, this woman comes home to her house. She walks in the door. She sees her daughter or her sister or some female relative, you know, laying prone on the floor face down. A man is on top of her. And before you people reach for, you know, the tissues and the hand lotion, it wasn't that kind of a movie. Brother Jack checked. He rewound it and watched it twice, believe it or not. She is laying on the ground and the man is on top of her, looks like chewing at her scalp, ripping bits of her hair off and skin off of her head. And then he turns around and he's wearing her scalp on his head as a hat because you can see the blood running down his forehead. And he's giggling and laughing about it with a purely demented look in his eyes. Well, the mother or sister or wife, whatever, goes to run away and is being pursued by the by the madman, and she realized that she has dropped her keys with her purse, and they were back in the kitchen where all this took place. She runs to the car, reaches to her pocket, and finds nothing. You know, a classic mistake in horror movies. And if that had been a Friday the 13th film, her head would have been on the carport, slicker than you could say, you know, Jack Robinson. You know, she'd have been looking up at her own decapitated corpse, you know, doing the chicken and pissing all over itself and whatever they choose to do these days. But anyway, she runs off. She manages to elude her pursuer by hiding in various farm buildings out in the middle of nowhere. She finds her neighbor's house, and thinking that that is where she'll be saved, she heads toward it. She reaches the kitchen and finds a rather nasty shock, but we won't go any further than that because we don't want to do any spoilers. You know, as our friends on Doctor Who say, spoilers! You know, we don't want to do that. But it was a very good piece, and the ending had enough of a twist to, you know, hold your interest through the whole thing. It was, I believe, like a 20-minute film. Not a bad deal. I mean, not a bad deal at all. It's worth the 99 cents it would cost you to rent this on Vimeo. And do check it out, definitely. We urge all our viewers to do this. The next film... Alright, the next film was actually the best one of the bunch, and they did save the best for last. This film was called The Nest. It was done by Rattlesnake Productions. The film starts out in the rural countryside. You see the farms, you see the fences, you see the fields of wheat waving in the breeze and all that Norman Rockwell crap. But anyway, the film features the rancher apparently getting a nasty surprise in the field that one of his prize horses has been not only, I don't want to say torn apart, but torn apart and devoured. I mean, it looked like this horse had been sitting in a tank of piranha for an hour, you know, and we all know how that turns out. Not good for Trigger, not by a long shot. But anyway, the rancher proceeds to enter his local diner, and every town has one. You know, we have them here in Omaha. They have names such as Simmons Cafe, the Dewdrop Inn. You know, it's like Ed's Diner, or if you happen to frequent downtown, The Diner. You know, not a bad place to eat. I highly recommend it. Try the cheeseburger. Their cheeseburgers are excellent. And they do serve breakfast most of the day on the weekdays. So check them out if you're in the old market. It's called The Diner. You can Google it and get the exact address. But anyway, the rancher finds the local government USDA rep who does farm inspections. He proceeds to bitch at him about his problems, that his prize horses are being killed by these in a rather gruesome manner by little more, you know, what he suspects to be more than just a pack of coyotes or wolves, because wolves or coyotes simply could not inflict this kind of damage on one of those beasts. The government FDA farm rep proceeds to tell him, you know, about how he's understaffed and overworked and yada yada yada, but he tells him he will come and check it out later that afternoon. Now the waitress, and if you watch this movie, that waitress is going to tip you off right from the beginning that there's something not right about her. This woman, if, you know, it's like, why don't they just have a neon sign over her head that says, "Raving Bitch"? I mean, I haven't seen a bigger bitch like that than my last wife or my last, you know, significant other, and that was quite a few years ago. But anyway, so you can tell something's not right. We also see two travelers, two would-be goth chicks sitting there. The conversation turns to the honey that the woman raises on her farm through her apiaries, which for those of you who went to Omaha public schools, that means beehive, y'all. You know, it's like read a book, read a dictionary once in a while. You know what I'm talking about. Hooked on Phonics worked for me. And me is spelled M-E, kids, not M-I. Just thought I'd throw that out there for y'all. You know, Brother Jack supports the education for the youth of America, but around here it's bad education for the youth of America. Oh well, what you gonna do? Anyhow, anyway, the woman proceeds to, upon the two goth girls checking out, a jar of honey falls out of one of their purses, and because she was trying to steal it, you know, this is an object lesson, kids. Don't steal shit. You know, bad things happen when you're in little rural towns. The diner owner proceed with her mute, obviously inbred son, you know, proceeds to take these girls hostage, and deciding that they should be done away with, proceeds to dump them down a well. And now we figured out where the bees come from. You know, these are not your normal bees. These are bees the size of small rodents. I mean, just imagine a rat with wings. And no, I'm not talking about a pigeon. I'm talking about an actual rat with wings and, you know, big beady eyes and a stinger, you know. That's what these things look like. But the special effects were very good. I'm not going to give you the whole plot of the film, but let's just say these bees do a number on everyone they come across. And, you know, and it's, I mean, we could go from this to a pile of bones in about faster than you can say, holy shit, you know. Great special effects, I have to admit. For an indie production, I was quite impressed with the values. I was quite impressed with the storyline. And I was quite impressed, you know, with the overall production. So hillbillyhorrorshow.com is definitely worth watching. If you're on Vimeo, it's definitely worth adding to your friends list. And it's even worth the 99 cents you're going to pay for the rental of the show. Let's hope it comes to a outlet such as Roku, maybe like Zombie TV, or becomes available to the general public without cost, or that it appears on one of the Roku channels like, you know, the Horror Channel, Drive-In, the Drive-In channel, and some of those others. You all know what I'm talking about. If you have a Roku box, you know what I'm talking about. And you can also look for the Angry Brothers on the Vimeo app on Roku. All you have to do is download it to your Roku box and search for Brother Jack Angry or the Angry Brothers. It'll take you right to our page, and you can watch all the episodes we have there for free at no cost to yourself in glorious color on your favorite TV set. But we're going to give, you know, Blue DeGolyer, Scott Geider, and the rest of the cast of Hillbilly Horror Show and the movies that they've had for this first episode, we're going to give them 5 out of 5 Reggies. And this is the top show rating that we can give on Movie Night Live from the Monastery of Mayhem. And there's only been 2 movies that have ever, well, actually one film that has only ever garnered that. And that is George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead and Vincent Price, The Mask of the Red Death. Well, actually 2 films. Vincent Price, Mask of the Red Death, and Vincent Price, The Conqueror Worm, also called The Witchfinder General. Both were the epitome of some of Price's work, and Night of the Living Dead needs no introduction. We've all seen it numerous times through various horror hosts, and you know, it's the film that gave birth to the zombie craze, and done by the Zomfather himself, George A. Romero, who, by the way, likes this show and likes our page on Facebook and our blog. So, you know, thank you for the vote of confidence, George. We hope we never let you down. Now, next week, we're going to be having more great films, including the 1969 information anti-pornography piece called Perversion for Profit. Now, before any of you write the station that we're running porn films, nothing could be further from the truth. This was an actual piece that was commissioned by a group called the Citizens for Decency, and I have looked them up, and they were a legitimate organization. They promoted community values and community standards. They were basically backed by several, like the not the John Birch Society, but several other church-run societies that had a national influence. This film was produced with them, with newscaster George Putnam being the presenter and narrator. Basically, this does present a very, did I say very, one-sided view of the evils of the adult film, adult publishing, adult whatever industry, and its effect on the moral decay of youth in America. So, you know, we got a good laugh out of it. We all screened it, and frankly, we busted a gut laughing. I mean, Brother James almost pissed on himself. But then again, Brother James almost pisses on himself quite a lot. So, you know, but big vote of confidence anyway. And we're presenting it to you just to, because it does kind of fall in with some of the films we have run, such as Reefer Madness, Cocaine Fiends, and Sex Madness. Those were all commissioned by the U.S. government to show the evils of these behaviors to the general public, but they've become almost camp now in their biased viewpoints and one-sided presentations. So that's going to be coming next week here on the Angry Brothers Omaha Shakarama. So again, and if you want to visit the Hillbilly Horror Show .com page on Facebook and Vimeo, we'll put those links at the end of the show here. And, you know, again, please be sure and check them out. Wonderful, wonderful production. I can't really say enough. And remember, people, support your indie horror filmmakers in your community. You know, I've heard talk about a certain film festival coming up, and Brother Jack isn't really sure where he stands on this, so he's going to do a little more research. And I'll get back to you all on that. But again, you know, support your local indie filmmakers, and if you are running a film festival, don't charge your indie filmmakers to screen their works at your film festival. And if you're interested, Brother Jack does have a list of about a dozen film festivals throughout the country that don't charge any type of submission fees. So if you want that list, be sure and email me, care of the show, which is theangrybros@gmail.com, and I'll make sure you get that list. So again, support your indie filmmakers, and let's keep America on top. Watch Horror Host, y'all. Good night. 3, 2, 1, go.